Shalom, shalom, family. How's everybody doing? Shalom, shalom, family. How's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? Let me take the one in the room, family. Let me get a one in the room if you guys can hear me. Can you please type a one in the room if you guys can hear me? If you guys can hear me loud and clear, type a one in the room. Let's get a one in the room if you guys can hear me loud and clear. All right. All right. Looks like you guys can hear me. Hope everybody's having a good evening. I hope and pray that everybody's having a good evening. Let's get it in. Let's get it in. I'm seeing polygamy on the table. Really? Y'all trying to jam somebody up? Y'all want to talk about polygamy? Really? Y'all ain't setting me up. Y'all ain't setting me up. Y'all ain't setting me up. Mhm. Shalom, family. Shalom. Tiffany Smith said, as Hebrews, we should recite the daily prayers in our Siddur. Absolutely. Definitely agree with that. That we should be reciting the daily prayers in our Siddur. Definitely agree with that. I also want to add that we should definitely be composing our own Siddur, our own modern Siddur, with our own impetus as well. We should definitely be looking to do that. Family, if you can, thumb up the video and share the live. Thumb up the video and please share the live. I absolutely agree with that. We should be doing that. We should also be looking to continue the tradition, adding continuity to it by adding our own impetus. Mark Moore says, is there a difference between the commandment given in Numbers 15 and the commandment to wear in Deuteronomy 22? Absolutely. Number one, Numbers 15 is the general commandment that you must wear fringes or tzitzit. And Deuteronomy 22:12 actually teaches you how to make them. More on that in my Torah class. I don't really have much on the ancient Japanese samurai culture. Mike, I'm looking on word back from Canon. I want to share something huge with regard to myself and Nick Cannon, but unfortunately, I'm not at liberty to. So I'm just waiting back to hear from him or his camp to find out what's going on. Shout out to my brother, man. Shout out to my brother, Boom Church. Huh? Shout out to my brother, Moray William Brown, all the way out in Boom Church. I see you, Moray. Shout out to you, beloved. You say you are an inspiration. You are as well, my brother. Even all the way in Atlanta, you are an inspiration as well. Shout out to you as well, my good and dear brother. Shout out to you as well. Did you detail manhood and womanhood according to the Bible? Absolutely. I actually have womanhood detailed in my book Matriarchs of the Covenant. Right? In my book Matriarchs of the Covenant, I speak very candidly about womanhood. In the book entitled Matriarchs of the Covenant, which is hard for you to see screen, but this is it right here. Do you plan on moving back to the motherland? No time soon. No time soon. Yes, I got your email on the depiction of the Nubians, the full relief. Thank you very much. Definitely got your email on that, and thank you very, very much. What are my thoughts on Tel Arad being the real Mount Zion? I have thoughts. Not sure how much I want to share that part openly, but I definitely have some thoughts on that. I know that the brother who has made that claim, unfortunately, makes a lot of outlandish and crazy claims. So that's all I'm going to say about that without going into much. Were the ancient Sumerians patrilineal or patriarchal? They were a mix between the two. The Sumerian society showed respect for women. The Sumerian society had women that became priests. How many of you know that Sargon the first, his daughter Enheduanna, Sargon's daughter Enheduanna, she was a priestess. In fact, she was a high priestess. So women were afforded great respect in Sumerian culture. So Sumerian culture is complex because you can't exclusively describe it as patriarchal, because you definitely have elements of Sumerian culture which go really, really deep into great respect for women in positions of power and authority as well. All right, you definitely have that. According to Torah, can Hebrews and Gentiles mix? I don't know. I don't know. Can Hebrews and Gentiles mix? The Torah gives a ban on what nations we can marry and what nations we cannot marry. It's all right there. The Torah does not tell us we can only marry Israelites. The Torah does not tell us that. The Torah tells us what nations we can marry and what nations we cannot marry. Can Hebrews and Gentiles mix? Absolutely. 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 Even Gentiles, according to the Torah, have their place in the kingdom. Even Gentiles, according to the Torah, have their place in the kingdom. You said what I'm sipping on? Island Punch juice. This ain't a drinky drink. This is Tropicana Island Punch juice. It's like a new mix from Tropicana. I think they also have one called Caribbean Blend or Caribbean Punch or something like that. But it's juice, bruh. I don't sip on no drinky drink till Saturday night. I get right on Saturday night. I get right on Saturday night. Wow, y'all got a whole lot of questions for me, huh? Whoa, last night I'm doing Q&A. I'm playing. The questions is coming in. I can't even keep up with the questions. I know we got to thumb that video up though. We got almost 50 people in here. We should see way more likes, family. Please, if you can, family, thumb up the video. Thumb up the video. No, Abraham is not an Amorite. Abraham is an Israelite. The Bible makes it clear that Abraham is a descendant of Noah via Shem. So it is impossible that Abraham could be an Amorite. When you come to Atlanta, I got an oxtail spot to take you to. Now you the man. Now you, my friend, you are the man. You are the man. You are the man. Mm, 14 books removed from the Bible. Blue Mantis said I'm gonna have to call in with my question. Yeah, how about we do that? I'll take some call-in questions. How about we do that? How about we have those of you that have questions? I'm gonna invite you to call in live. If you got a question, family, I'm going to just simply invite you to call in live. How about that? If you got a question, I am going to simply invite you to call in live. Let's do that. So if you got a question, call in. Anybody has a question that they want me to address live, the live number is on the screen. How about that? Nope. My fault. Yeah, you're right. Abraham wasn't an Israelite. But you know what I meant, Moray. You know what I meant. You know what I meant. Nah, you're right. Folks will chop that up, being petty. You're right, Moray. You're right. Abraham is our eponymous ancestor from whence our culture comes. The Israelites come from Abraham, not the other way around. Thank you very much, Moray. You are absolutely right. Yes. Somebody says, is Enki and Osiris the same person? Absolutely. Yes, they are. There's a title of Asar or Osiris right in the pyramid text where he's called Enki. Enki. Absolutely. They're one and the same person. Enki is a title of Osiris in the Medu Neter. I can actually show it to you in the dictionary. So we know it's a title of his. They are afraid of you, Moray. Yeah? Be very afraid. If you are afraid, be very afraid. Because it's about to go down. All right, it's about to go down. Kemetic brothers. Let me see what he said, our brother. Kemetic brothers talk about every Dr. Ben book except We Are the Black Jews. Ain't that something? They always talking about shout out to Dr. Ben. Dr. Ben is the master teacher. And nobody want to talk about Dr. Ben's book, We Are the Black Jews. Uh-oh. Everybody want to mention Dr. Ben. Everybody want to mention the great Dr. Ben. But nobody want to talk about this book right here. We Are the Black Jews. Let me see. Who's this written by? Oh, by Yosef A. Ben Yochanan. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right. All right. All right. So there's a lot going on in the chat. But again, if you guys got a question that you really want me to get into, you could call live. If not, I'm going to peruse through questions because there's so many coming in. But if you want me to go into your question with more detail, you're going to have to call in. If not, I'm just going to peruse through questions with my responses until or unless somebody calls in where I can give a greater understanding. By the way, for those of you who have a great number of questions, I absolutely do Torah classes. I absolutely do Torah classes. All right, I definitely do Torah classes. So for those of you who are interested, I definitely do Torah classes. Let me make sure that my calling line is open because I do have it set to a certain time of day. Let me make sure it's available. Today is, yeah, it's open now. Today is what, Tuesday? Yeah, we good now. Yeah, y'all could call in. Y'all could call in. It's open right now. So if somebody wants to call in, it's up. It's up there. Somebody wants to call in. The caller number is up there. I just made sure I checked the settings and it's not going to voicemail. It is open. So if you want to, thank you. Y'all heard that? Who was that? Who was that? Let me shout you out live on the air. Who was that? Thank you very much, Jordan Tucker and Henry Morrow, for your donation. Thank you so very much. He said, I just called and got the voicemail, huh? All right, I'm gonna call you back then. I'm not sure why that happened. Well, let me call you back. Let me call you back. Let me first try to figure out why it did that. All right, I'll just simply call you back.
Hello?
Shalom, shalom. Did you just try to call?
Yeah, I think that was another brother though, but I think we were just calling simultaneous.
Okay, my apologies then. Take care.
I can ask my question?
Oh no, I thought you didn't. I'm confused. You wanted to call or no?
Yeah. I was just saying that another brother or sister was probably calling at the same time. I was definitely calling.
Okay, no, by all means, go ahead. Please, go into your question. Just let us know what's your name, what city you calling from, and go straight into your question.
All right. So, some brothers call me Kabar. I'm out from New York, and my question is about. I was the one that asked, was Abraham an Amorite, not a literal Amorite, because going into like the Bible and stuff, it clearly states that he was an Aramaean, right?
Right.
And going through like the history, the Aramaeans didn't appear in the Levant until like the 12th century BC. Not century, my fault. The 12th millennium BC. So like they projected Abraham to like live, I don't know, between the time of like the 20th millennium BC, and around that time, the Amorites was like a heavy presence in like that area. So that's why I was asking about that question.
Okay, so the Bible has a lot of different epithets or titles that sometimes get thrown around. When we're wicked, the Bible says that we are Sodom and we are Gomorrah. The Bible says your father was an Aramean or an Amorite, referring to the culture that Abraham was raised in. Abraham is introduced in the world in about 2000 BCE. And he's born during a time where Hammurabi is on the throne in Mesopotamia, and is during the time of what is known as the Neo-Sumerian Renaissance. The people who were ruling Sumer or southern Mesopotamia previously were a people known as the Gutians, Gutians, the Gutians. After they were overthrown by the natives, you now see a resurgence of Sumerian culture, tradition, and lifestyle, which is known as the Neo-Sumerian Renaissance period. However, the ruling class was still Amorites. So when it says your father is an Aramean, it's referring to the culture that Abraham was born in, but Abraham himself was not an Amorite.
Okay. That's starting to make a little bit sense. So now, my last question is, in terms of like the Aramaic language, right? I asked you about this in the Torah class, but you kind of touched upon it a little bit. If you could expound more a little bit, but in terms of like Laban and Jacob, where Laban was speaking Aramaic and Jacob speaking Hebrew, can you find like early Aramaic, like pre 12 millennium 12 millennium BC artifacts?
Can you find early Aramaic around what period?
Before the 12 BCE, the 12 millennium BC.
Yeah, I mean, you can trace back Aramaic as a language long before then. Absolutely.
Right. So can you explain on how Laban spoke Aramaic around the time of the patriarchs, early patriarchs?
Right. So Aramaic has been around for a very, very long time. Aramaic is a sister tongue to Hebrew. Some scholars even argue that it's just simply a different dialect of Hebrew, and it has been spoken. I want to say since post-flood era. It is no different, major wise, than the Aramaic that we speak in the New Testament or in the books of Daniel, Ezra, and Nehemiah.
Okay.
I'll give you way more. I'll give you a way more backdrop on that in class. However, that's a very complex discussion. We'd have to go into a lot of archaeological references to demonstrate that.
All right, Mario. Thank you for taking my questions. I'm gonna yield the floor now. Try to open it up for other brothers and sisters to open up.
You're very welcome, Maki.
Appreciate you what you're doing, man. And shalom to the chat and everyone watching, man.
Thank you very much for your call, Aki. We appreciate you too.
All right, man. Shalom.
All right, shalom. All right, family. So the lines are open if you guys want to call in. The lines are open if you guys want to call in. Just remember, it's YouTube, so just please keep it professional. We don't want to drop any cuss words by accident. Not saying anybody would purposely do it, but accidentally it happens. It happens. Thank you very much, Jason. I see you, Moray Jason. Thank you very much for your donation, Moray. I see you. Thank you. What else we got in here? Let me see. Why do the holy days line up with our seasons? It's handsome. It's not spring. Absolutely. Anybody else calling in? If you're not going to call in, I'm just going to briefly go through some of the questions in the chat room and attempt to answer briefly some of them. But if you call in, I could go more in depth. That's a good question. Let me go back up. It's a really good question. The brother said, what is a Hebrew in light of your answer? Let me find it again. So what is a Hebrew in light of your answer? What is a Hebrew? It's a really good question. Let me see. Whoever just called, I'm calling you back. However, I'm not getting a response. Let me see if I can call back.
Hello?
Hey, caller, you're on the air. Tell us your name, what city you're calling for, and jump right into what you'd like to say.
Shalom, Aki. Peace to you and peace to everybody in the chat. Your brother, Adroy Bendora, called from Colorado.
Shalom.
I have a lot of questions to ask you, but I just want it's kind of been weighing heavy on me a little bit. My question is, what language did did Abraham speak? And here's why I ask this question, because because in the esoteric branch of the oral tradition, and in a book entitled Sefer Yetzirah, right?
Say the name of that book again.
It's called it's called Sefer Yetzirah.
Are you looking at the screen while you on the phone?
No, sir.
Are you talking about this book?
I'm not looking at the screen as of right now.
Well, I have a copy of the Sefer Yetzirah, so go ahead.
Okay, go to chapter 6 in the last paragraph.
The last stanza, which says, at the end,
Yeah.
Abraham finished with all the souls that he had made.
Yeah, because in here, I think in the middle of that stanza, it says that that Abraham was taught the 22 letters, with the whole overall theme and idea and method of the book is that Hebrew is the language of creation, right?
Right. Hebrew is the language of creation. Go ahead. I'm following you.
Okay. So now, this is in the oral tradition, right? But also, in another tradition among Israel, which I mean people don't consider, but I'm in the Book of Jubilees, right? In chapter 12, verses 25 to 27, it says exactly just that Hebrew, that the angel of the presence, who at the time, of the book was narrating to Moshe and had write stuff down. But anyway, that Abraham was taught the language, the Hebrew language, the language of creation.
Okay.
Right. So it seems to me that
where in Jubilees did you say?
Chapter 12 and verses 25 to 27.
All right, let me just pull it up. 25 through 27. And the Lord God opened his mouth and his ears that he may hear and speak with his mouth with the language which has been revealed. For it had ceased from the mouths of all the children of men from the day of the overthrow of Babylon. And I opened his mouth and ears and lips, and I began to speak with him in the Hebrew tongue of creation. So go ahead to get to your question.
My question is, what language, if you know, did Abraham speak before he was taught the language of creation, or Hebrew?
All right, so Abraham comes from the region of Sumer, right? So Abraham would have spoken what we call today in the Akkadian dialect, which is like the western branch of what we're describing. Excuse me, the eastern branch of what we're describing as Hebrew, right? Remember, this name Hebrew is a new name. You can't even find it in the Bible to describe the language, right? Remember, the Bible never calls the language Hebrew. It never does. It simply doesn't, right? But we know that what we're calling Hebrew is essentially what Abraham spoke, but more than likely he spoke it with what is called an Akkadian dialect.
Okay.
So I would want to guarantee that the Hebrew he spoke is closer to what we describe as Akkadian, but he certainly knew Hebrew. Because remember, he comes into the land of Canaan and he doesn't need an interpreter. Also, remember, when he comes into the land of Egypt, he doesn't need an interpreter either. That's highly significant to note. It lets you know he was a multilinguist. Remember, in the biblical correspondence with the book of Daniel, whenever the king is speaking to people, he needs to speak to them in a language they can understand. So the Bible says he spoke to them in Aramaic. But when Abraham goes to Canaan, he doesn't need an interpreter. When he goes to Egypt, he doesn't need an interpreter. Abraham was clearly a multilinguist or a polyglot.
And that is powerful. Thank you so much for answering my question. And as always, we all appreciate the work you're doing. Keep it up. And peace to everybody in the chat. No one's listening.
Peace to you as well, my brother. Thank you very much for your questions.
by the way, we teach from this book in our Kabbalah class. The Sefer Yetzirah is a very, very deeply esoteric text. It's a very, very deeply esoteric text on the teachings of the Torah. The oral tradition does regard it as a book that was written or authored by Abraham, our forefather. Anybody else? Who's next? Who is next? What's the next question in the room? What's the next question in the room? Oh, I got a local number here. All right, let me call back this local number. Was that you that just called?
Yes, it was nice.
Peace to you, caller. How you doing? This is Zion Lex. You just called in?
Yes, I just called in. I didn't get you guys. Are you still live?
Yeah, we're still live. You're live right now. Could you tell us your name, your city, and then go into your question or your statement?
Yeah, just I have a question. My name is Shamwa Allah, or you can call me Shamuel. Coming from New York City, upstate, and I just have a question in regards to was Abraham, how did he learn the Torah? And was it possible that he learned the Torah from Shem?
It's a great question. So we know that they're contemporaries. Our oral tradition actually regards Shem as Melchizedek. The oral tradition says that Shem, the biblical Shem, is Melchizedek, which is Melchizedek. Abraham does not learn from a written text. The Bible says in Genesis chapter 26, verses 4 through 5, that Abraham kept all of God's Torah. Mind you, there was no written Torah at the time. Yet the Bible says Abraham kept all of God's commandments, all of his decrees, all of his judgments, and all of his Torah. And mind you, there's no written law. So what is the first form of the Torah? Oral Torah. A lot of Israelites don't know that, but it's staring them right in the face in the Bible. The Bible says in Genesis 26, verses 4 through 5, Abraham kept all of his laws, but Abraham never had a written book. So obviously the very first form of the Torah was the oral Torah, and these are the traditions that were handed down from all of the righteous descendants leading up to Abraham.
Okay, so it wasn't the I think there's a thing called Noetic law from Noah.
Well, I just mentioned that Abraham learned the Torah from all of the righteous descendants that passed down the tradition, so that would definitely include Noah.
Oh, right. Wow. Yeah. Well, that was the question I wanted to ask, because I was reading your book actually, and I come across that statement you made, and I was a little bit perplexed.
Okay.
And
it's a good question.
I just wanted to know.
It's a very good question.
I definitely definitely want to encourage you to continue doing what you're doing, because you're bringing a lot of light to a lot of people. Of course, that's through the power of the Most High. But we're really impressed with your work, and we're looking forward, me and my family, to join your class pretty soon.
Thank you so very much, my brother. Where's your family background from? I'm detecting a little accent.
Yes, I myself is from Haiti. Some would call it a Levite.
Nice.
My wife is from Guyana.
Nice.
She's pretty much the mixture.
Nice. My mom is from Guyana.
Yeah, I'll follow that.
Small world, man. Small world. Much love and respect to you, my brother.
Yes, we'll talk soon, because we spoke. There was a time we spoke a few weeks ago, and I'm a jeweler. I'm interested in talking to you, I guess, offline in regards to some projects that I want to do. I want you to be able to guide me with the inscriptions that I want to use in a certain piece.
All right,
So
I'm with it.
we'll talk about that.
I'm with it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, my brother.
All
Thank
right.
you very much. Be blessed. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Thank you. Looks like somebody else tried to call. Let me call back that caller.
Hello.
Peace, caller. You're on the air. Could you tell us your name, your city, and then go in on with what you wanted to say?
Yeah. My name is Keith, and I'm from San Francisco. And I'm just calling because I just wanted to get some understanding on a lot of these star symbols that I'll be seeing. Like, does it represent anything dark or anything light? I see a lot of coaches that use it, and I'm just kind of confused on about it all.
You said the star symbol. I'm assuming you're referencing the Star of David.
Well, not just the Star of David. I mean, I do kind of understand that it may not have been from David, but it might have been from Solomon. I don't know if it could have had been when he had got married to another woman from another nation. But I'm not sure about the other cultures using the star symbol. Like, you know, you can see that like the Muslims, I see the 8-pointed star being used a lot. I see that like a lot of white people like to use the star in a lot of these shows. Like I say this show I like to watch a lot called Supernatural, and they use like the pentagram. And I already done noticed. I had like known that was kind of a bad thing when I was a kid when I see the pentagram, but I don't have that much understanding about it. I just know that they do use it a lot with dark magic. And I'm kind of confused when I see my Hebrew brothers also representing the star symbol, and they say that it represents Abba Yah's favorite flower. So I'm hearing a lot of different reasons about why we even represent the star symbol. And I just get confused about it all.
Okay. I wrote a book, by the way, on this very topic. The name of the book is called The Star of David Controversy. I actually just added it to the screen, so I'm not sure if you could see it yet, but I literally just added it to the screen. It's on Amazon. The book is called The Star of David Controversy. I go into
I will wind it a little bit, and I will try to see what's up with that.
Absolutely. It's a very, very good read. It's a very, very invasive look on the origin of the Star of David in ancient culture. And I take you through historical references from the ancient of times, even up until present day, and show you its usage. I even talk about what's called the Seal of Solomon. The Seal of Solomon is represented slightly different than what we call the Star of David, right? The Seal of Solomon is an interlocking triangle, whereas the Star of David is simply a 6-pointed star. But the Seal of Solomon, which is actually on the cover of the book, it's an interlocking triangle. And I go very deep. You would have to
I just want to go ahead. Sorry about that.
You would have to read the book to see my thoughts on it.
Okay, I just want to give you my thoughts on that interlocking star real quick. I was just looking at a lot. Insight that I'll be getting from just looking at all of this, especially with that interlocking star, is that my understanding is that, I see that the downward shape represents fallen angels. And I feel like the upward shape represents woman. And, when it comes together, it makes a star. So this is why I feel that, witches came about because, they could have been doing business with these angels, teaching them forbidden knowledge. And this is why I kind of feel that star symbol represents an unholy birth, which is why white people like to use it a lot, put it on their body. But it's like they have a spiritual connection with that star, even if they don't have a full understanding on why they even, use it. The ones that don't have no understanding, but the ones that do have some understanding to it seem to think that it can be used for evil. That it can call forth wickedness, like some type of calling card where you see them in the pentagram and they got to stand in the middle of it and light candles and all of that and call on their name. They just standing inside of a star symbol doing all of this. So it's like there can be some good benefit and bad benefit from this star that can produce negative energy and positive energy. I didn't even know that there was two different types of star dealing with Hebrew culture. I didn't know that there was also the Star of Solomon plus the Star of David. I just thought that people got it confused with the Star of Solomon being that it was the Star of David, but it was actually the Star of Solomon that brought forth this symbol. But I didn't know that it was a star from David as well.
Okay.
I didn't know this. But I thought the interlocking star to me represented an unholy birth. Fallen star, the fallen angel and the woman coming together. That's just my thought on that.
Okay. I appreciate your thoughts on that. I would definitely.
Man, I listen to you a lot, man. I'm actually, I listen to you every day because I consider you a teacher as well as my brother. So I listen to you really a lot, and I tell people about you. I play you a lot to a lot of my family members because you just that bad. You really someone to listen to. So I thank you a lot, man, for what you're doing for us.
I appreciate hearing that, my brother. Thank you very much for saying that, man. I could tell you this, brother. Definitely put that book on your reading list.
Hey, I'm on it, man. As soon as I get through finish listening to you, man, I'm gonna get on that.
All right, man. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
Bless.
All right, bless. And what I'm also going to add to that is be very mindful, family, that something is not wicked simply because of how it's used. Something is wicked because of its origin. Remember, it's always the origin story of something that deems or warrant it as wicked. If you look at the Star of David, which, let me do this. Hexagram Hebrew. Something is not wicked simply because of how it's used by others. Something is wicked because of its origin story. I'm going to try to see if I can show you guys a particular image that would really, really enlighten you on this topic more than what most people talk about. Why am I not seeing it? Any other time I would see it. Hexagram. Oh, sorry. Oh, goat. There we go. All right, let's take this symbol. Let's take the pentagram for a moment. Let's take the pentagram for a moment and let's do this. I'm going to engage this question a little bit by utilizing the pentagram. In several black magic circles, as it were, Wicca, satanic witchcraft, they utilize the Hebrew language in many of their seances where they are making invocations, right? The Hebrew language is spoken. So is the Hebrew language wicked because they use it? No. They also use the Star of David. The Star of David is not wicked because they use it. Because the Star of David is wicked because they use it, you also got to throw away the Hebrew language because they use that in their seance. So what I want to say to everybody who has any dispute on the Star of David, I'm going to tell you to put this book in your cart on Amazon and get it as soon as possible. This book is very, very heavy in terms of going into the origin story of the Star of David. That's why I entitled the book The Star of David Controversy. It goes very, very heavy into the origin story, and it's something that should be on everybody's book list. There's a lot of misinformation out here as to the origin of the Star of David, and Not sure if you guys can see it, but if you look right here, you can literally see the book right here, The Star of David Controversy. All right, it's on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Nobles. You can look it up, family. It's on Amazon and Barnes & Nobles. The Star of David Controversy. All right, The Star of David Controversy. It's probably the fourth book I ever wrote. The first book I wrote is entitled It Was Written and Engraved. The second book I wrote is Ancient Kemet on Trial. The third book I wrote is Matriarchs of the Covenant. The fourth book I wrote is The DNA of Sound. And this is the last book I wrote. This is actually the last book I wrote, The Star of David Controversy. And it's a powerful book. Very, very powerful book. And I ain't saying that simply because I'm the author. It's a very, very powerful book. All right, who's next? What we got? What y'all got for me? Who's next? Let me see. Who's next? What's next? Let me see. What y'all got for me? Facts. Nerd Stuff said, I've been wearing the Magen David for years. No ghosts or demons showed up. Facts. Facts. But I definitely appreciate the brother's question because it's a very sincere and earnest question. And a lot of people have questions as regard to the origin story of the Star of David. So I welcome that question. That's a very, very good question. Anybody else? Do remember, guys, you could call in. You could call in and get a much more in-depth answer to any of your questions. You could call in and get a much more in-depth answer to any of your questions. I see some of you are actually going to do that. Looks like somebody did call. Let me see who that was. No? I have the Rambam commentary for the Torah. Would you recommend the Rambam? Absolutely. Absolutely. The Rambam Chumash. Absolutely. Definitely recommend it. Definitely recommend it. Bar none, one of the best Torah commentaries that there are out. Bar none, one of the best. Bar none. The Ramban, Rabbi Moshe Ben Nachman, is probably going to be my favorite because he goes more into esoterics. The Rambam with an M goes into esoterics as well, but the Ramban with an N, he's a different beast. He's a different beast, boy. He is a different beast. But yeah, there's several different commentaries that I've used over the years that help to build upon my knowledge of Torah. My knowledge of Torah is coming from so many different areas of looking at the Bible, so many different areas or avenues of looking at the Bible, so many different commentators, so many different writers and authors. I have a very, very well-rounded and balanced view of the Torah's teachings because I open my mind up to be a student to many different powerful minds on the Torah. Many different and powerful minds on the Torah. Remember, guys, we do Hebrew classes during the week. You guys can feel free to join the Hebrew class. zionlex@gmail.com. Next week starts a class for children. Jump in, guys, and take advantage of these things. Jump in and take advantage of these things. Remember, nothing lasts forever. So jump in and take advantage of these things.
Shalom.
Hey, shalom, man. Long time no speak. How you doing?
Good. Yeah, I was just calling in. I wanted to ask you, how do you write a book? Because I like to write a book myself.
Okay.
Yeah.
First, let me throw this on at you, man. Glad you called. Good timing. Are you aware that when you offered me a spot to come and speak at Temple University, that Garfield and Dr. Issa, they blocked it? Are you aware of that?
What? No.
Hold on.
I'm not aware of that.
I want you to hear this video, all right? I want you to hear this. I'm gonna play something. I want you to hear it. It's about 3 minutes long. I want you to wait till the end of it, and then I want you to hear it, all right?
I'm gonna have a good laugh.
This is gonna be dope. And for the family, so the brother that actually invited me, that gave me the invite to come and speak at Temple University, he's on the line right now. And I'm going to play for him an audio that Garfield released today where he says that I was railroaded and I was blocked from speaking at Temple University. I'm going to press play, brother. At the end of it, I want you to tell me your thoughts, all right?
No problem.
All right.
And I'm gonna bring up something. I hope Zion is watching. I got something to tell Zion real quickly. But watch this. Go ahead. Finish your point.
Yeah, you're on the road. You sure you want me to finish something?
Let me make this point real quick. Right.
All right, make the point.
When Dr. Jai Issa said that, right?
Huh?
He basically said that Equiano was a Jew, or he claimed to be a Jew. But when you read his work, he's saying that they do things like the Jews. He's not saying he's a Jewish. As a matter of fact, he said we couldn't tell who is from who, whether it's a Jew from the Igbo or the Igbo from a Jew. Just to be fair, depending on the translation or the book that you read. Just to be honest, right? Now, this guy on the right, Zion Lex, was having a dialogue with Jai Issa. It got heated. Zion took off his jacket. They thought they was going to fight. Dr. Issa got mad. He got heated. Remember, we and Dr. Issa had an issue. For those who've been watching Dagger Squad for the last 5 years, we had an issue because him and Truth Story got into it about Garvey or something else. I don't remember what they got into it about. And he jumped off and said that we need to follow proper methodology and all that stuff, right? So we got into it. When he had the dialogue with Zion, and I want everybody to pay attention. Zion, I don't want you to pay attention to this. Zion, you might not know this, but you were supposed to speak. You were to lead at Temple University. Temple University is ran by this guy, Dr. Jai Issa's friend, who is Malefi Asante. I don't know.
All right, let me stop the video here real quick and give a quick commentary. The brother who invited me, once again, to speak at Temple University is on the phone right now. And what even he didn't know, and all of us were about to hear, because Dr. Issa is friends with the department head, they blocked me from coming to Temple. Watch this.
Who was bringing Zion? Zion advertised it, but I never saw Zion say whether he spoke or not. And when I told Dr. Issa Zion was speaking there, he said, no, he's not. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Now, this guy is going to stop Zion from speaking at Temple because he had a problem with Zion because of what happened in this dialogue. For those who want to see this video, This is a video. Let's put in Dr. Jai Isa versus Zion Lex. Right here. Right? This was January 11, 2017. Zion said, I'm going to speak at temple. I don't know if he spoke at temple or not. All I'm going to say is, this dude he on the left made sure if Zion didn't have that lecture, if Zion remembers, this is 4 years ago, it's because this guy on the left called his buddy to have you blocked from coming to temple. Just to let you know, Zion, in case you didn't know that.
Woo! My brother, please tell us, as the person who invited me to temple, what is your thoughts on that?
Oh man. First off the bat, okay, this is Augustus King responding. Me personally, I'm not a scholar, but I'm still learning. I want to be a scholar. But let me clear this. Let me get first thing straight. I don't know what the hell Garfield's getting his information from. I have absolutely no idea where in the hell he got that BS from, because I don't think that's true. I don't think he knows anyone from Temple University, and I don't think he knows where the name of the community is, or the name of the building. Because yes, Zion Lex, he was supposed to come to Temple University and not just teach, but give out some information and teach some information, and certain things happened, but that's not true. That is not true. I don't think Garfield knows the people from Temple University. When I'm talking about Temple University, I'm talking about African American Studies. That's the name of the place. That's the name of it. I don't think Garfield is affiliated with anyone. I don't think he knows.
No, not Garfield. Garfield is saying, me and Dr. Isa, who actually knows, Dr. Isa really does know the department head of Temple University. He knows of in particular the African Studies department. He knows him. And he said, when me and Dr. Isa got into it and we had beef, Garfield told Dr. Isa, hey, didn't you say you got connections at Temple? And Isa said, yeah. And he said, well, Zion Lex is going there to speak, because remember, after you told me, gave me the green light, and remember, I even spoke to the dude while you was on the phone, I made the flyer.
Right.
When I made the flyer, I put the flyer on my Facebook and started to advertise it. Garfield must have saw the flyer, and he called Dr. Isa and said, yo, Zion is coming to Temple. I thought your people run Temple. And Dr. Isa said, no, he's not. I'm going to make a phone call about that.
Right.
I'm going to need you to investigate that claim for me if you can, brother.
I don't think Dr. Isa, he may know somebody, but I don't think he knows my teacher.
Okay.
I don't think he's familiar. Is he familiar with he has a long name. Let me see if I can get it out. Hold on for a second. There's no shots at Garfield. But okay, I found it. Okay, his name is so long. He goes by the name of Abdilo L. Todd Mosley Bay or something. I can't pronounce that. If you want me to spell it, I can spell it out for you, but it's a long name.
Okay.
A. And I'm gonna slow down. A B D U L L A H. That's Abdullah, and the other name is E.L. Abdullah L. T.A.L.I.B.
Okay. I want you.
Mosley Bay.
I want you, if you can.
So,
I know this is turning into a probably longer phone call than you intended, and I'm definitely going to tell you how you write a book and get it published. I'm definitely going to do that. But because we have you, I can't lose this moment. So I really need you right now, and I want to ask you one more question. Being that you directly are the person responsible for setting up me speaking at Temple University, can you just explain to the community how that transpired, how that came to be? Why did you even select me, and what process did you go through to try to get me to be a speaker at Temple University?
Okay, for you to be a speaker, I didn't know what to. For you to be a speaker, I thought that would have been fantastic, because I felt that there was more people need to seek out some more information, like many information. Like I wanted the brothers and the sisters to learn about the Hebrew teachers, because I know that you're a Hebrew scholar, and break down the Hebrew languages, and all types of certain stuff, and talk about the Torah, and because I wanted the people to learn about the Torah, and I wanted them to learn about the Hebrew study. So that was the main reason, trying to get you to Temple University.
Absolutely. And what was the process? Who did you need to go through? Who did you need to ask in order to have me there as a speaker?
Yeah, my teachers now, I just spelled it out for you, my teacher's name, but he's very busy. He's a busy dude. But he was just not a man of his word. I don't know where he was not interested, or what, or he was just busy. But me, mentioning you to him, get your name on the list, I did my part. Now he was supposed to take care of the rest.
Right. So remember, I told you I got a phone call from him, and we spoke. And he even told me when I could come. But when I was trying to call to confirm, there was no response. Yeah. He never responded to me when I called to confirm the day. He just kind of left me out there. So now with what?
So that was so that's something I just heard. That's something I just heard. I just heard tonight.
Okay.
But speaking that, I didn't think he was a man of his word. I was a little mad when this thing happened, and not that I felt bad about the situation, but he should have inferred me and my tutor, Robert. He should have inferred us on not making this thing happen.
Fact.
So maybe I don't know if that's the case, if that was true, did they did whatever, if Dr. What's his name, Issa? I know who he is, Issa, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I don't know whether that's true or not, but me referring him to you, give him your name and your information to him. He was supposed to take care of the rest. He was supposed to register you to come on that night. And then when I was looking at the paper, I didn't see your name. So I wait a minute, I got kind of confused or something. So I called you and asked, "Are you still coming in?" No, I text you. So I text you and asked you whether or not are you still coming to Temple University. Your reply was yes. And then I asked them, "Hey, aren't you supposed to put Zion Lakes on a list? The day you're supposed to be coming." I mean, there was all types of excuses, and then the people, the sisters that ran the building, they're too damn strict, and they didn't want no other people coming into the building without being a student, or they didn't want any more guests. But I think that's how I'm gonna put it. But I just heard that story. So you calling him and reaching out to him, he was not answering, picking up his phone. I mean, I don't know what that was about, but I need to have a talk with him. I need to have a talk with him as soon as possible. So
I definitely appreciate that, brother, and I think the community appreciates it because Garfield went on his live this afternoon and for the first time talked about this, and I had never heard this before. You know what I'm saying? I had never heard this before.
Silence. I think Garfield. I have nothing against Garfield. There's no shots at Garfield, but I think Garfield's full of hatred. It's full of SHIT, and I think Garfield is lying. He may be lying. Garfield's lying. I think Garfield's lying because I don't. That's my first time hearing this. A thing too. That's my first time hearing this. So I don't know where Garfield's getting his information from, and did you hear him talk about it today?
Yeah, that was today. He did it live today. I even copied it and shared it on my live.
Well, with that being said, I don't think that's true. But I need to have a talk with my teacher and ask him, why this thing with Zion Lex never happened, and because it turned out that he was not a man of his word.
All right, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that.
That being said, Zion Lex, you are a good teacher. You are a great teacher. I mean, you teach Torah, you teaching Hebrew philosophy, you teaching Kemetic science, Kemetic history. I wanna learn all that. I wanna do all that because each and every last one of that is my history.
Fact.
So what I'm gonna do, hopefully when this so-called pandemic thing, dries out, I'm gonna head over there to Temple University and I'm gonna ask, and I will convince them to please put your name on that list so you can come to Temple University and bring this information to the people that need this knowledge, that needs to study it, that needs to learn this history, because this is their history.
All right, I definitely appreciate that, man.
That's how I'm gonna put it.
I definitely appreciate that. Now, as far as book writing is concerned, so the first step is to actually write the book. To actually know how to write a book, which I'm sure you already know how to do. You know how to write a book. If not, you could speak to me offline about that, and I could give you all of the details on how to write a book. Now, in terms of book publishing, there's two main routes that you can go. You can go the route of getting the right publicist, as it were, and trying to get your book published by known and accredited publishers, the major publishing houses. Or you can go the route that everybody's been going the last 10 years, the self-publishing route, of which there are many different platforms. Like Amazon had a platform, but I think they shut down. CreateSpace is still going. CreateSpace fell under Amazon, and then Amazon, right now, as far as I know, they put it back into the hands of CreateSpace. But you can go the CreateSpace route. But for the most part, what I would say is send me an email, because this information is very sensitive. So send me an email where we could talk offline, and I'll give you all the information you need from A to Z on how to take your book, upload it, and self-publish it. And if you do that today, you literally could have a book on the market by tomorrow morning. Yeah, in some cases, it's literally overnight. You submit it, they proof it. If there's any issues with it, they send it back to you. If they send it back to you and you like it, you could publish it right away. And that's a 24 to 48 hour turnaround. And for the most part, like I said, that's literally overnight. There's been nights that I submitted or uploaded my book in final form at 8 p.m. And the next day when I woke up at 9 a.m. in the morning, my book was live on Amazon. And because I have a plug for Barnes & Nobles, my book was also live on Barnes & Nobles.
Okay.
All right. So I could definitely give you, good information behind the scenes. Definitely could give you good information behind the scenes.
So like when you write, you would just write with your hands. Do you like type it on a computer or something?
Yes.
Your thought.
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But I'll walk you through it. Just hit me up behind the scenes. I'll walk you through it.
Yeah, no doubt. So with that being said, about this Temple University, if you want, you can meet me in Philadelphia. You can meet me downtown Philly. You can meet me downtown Philly, and we can go over there together. And I will introduce you to him and personally. And I'll say, yo, this is my teacher, Zion Lex, my master teacher. That's how I'm gonna put it, master teacher, whatever. And then I say, yo, you gotta get this man on. You gotta get this man, to come to the class and teach this history, teach the information. I mean, you will like this brother. You feel this brother. I mean, this dude. I mean, he's.
All right, I appreciate that, man. Well, this weekend I'm gonna be in Maryland and Baltimore, so maybe on my way back from Maryland and Baltimore, I could definitely stop in Philly, and maybe we can link up, man.
Definitely. So that way, I'll bring you to him in person.
All right, I definitely appreciate that.
Yeah, show him all the information. Show him all the all the stuff. I think you read like five books, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, you'll love this brother. You'll like this brother. This is Zion Lex. That's my teacher right there. That's Zion Lex.
All right.
So
I definitely appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Take care, all right?
Yeah, you too. Shalom. Most High Christ bless.
All right, shalom. I had a lot of people trying to call while our good brother was on the line. I'm gonna try to take some of these phone calls in order. Family, thumb up the video and share the live. Come on.
Shalom, peace. Is you again?
Oh yeah, my fault.
Sorry.
Thumb up the video and share the live, family. Thumb up the video and share the live.
Hello?
Shalom.
Zion Lex, is this you?
Yes, sir. Could you tell us your name, your city, and then jump into what you would like to say?
Yes, sir, brother. You know who I am. This is Brother James Carrick. I'm the guy that always go on Instagram and try to get you to answer my questions from time to time. I'm gonna be brief. I'm
Okay.
not gonna tell you. Thank you for allowing me the privilege to talk to you. I got one quick question, and I'm going to be. Are you familiar with these groups? You have the Cathars, you have the Merovingian, you have the Priory of Zion, you have the Knights Templar. Are you familiar with all those groups?
Yes.
You're familiar. What do you think about them?
Not really at liberty to share too much information at this time. I know that they are brothers of the craft, and I do respect many different brothers who are in the craft. So I won't give any I won't really give my response to that question.
Okay, gotcha. One more quick question. Okay, now, is the Kemetic faith a closed faith? In other words, was it for Egyptians only? I don't call anyone else,
No, absolutely not. No, they were ancient Egypt was a confederacy of many different tribes, nations, and peoples. So there is no homogeneous Egyptian race in ancient Kemet. There were many foreigners that lived in Egypt. Even the people, quote unquote, of Egypt themselves don't have their origin in Egypt.
Exactly. So it's not a closed faith. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's not closed because I'm thinking it was. That would mean that all this, Kemetic mumbo gumbo is not even for these practitioners of today. I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that, Mr. Lex. Thank you, for calling me back and everything else. I might call back in one more time before the night's over if I can take any questions.
Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate that.
Okay. Thanks, Mr. Lex.
All right. All right, family. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. So we getting some good stuff out the way. That was kind of cool to have the brother call in. I'm definitely gonna be powwowing with the brother again, talking with him behind the scenes to kind of get some more info. Cause what Brother Garfield revealed today was kind of interesting. I won't lie. To hear what Brother Garfield had to say was kind of interesting. I won't lie. I always wondered what happened with me speaking at Temple University. I spoke with the department head. You know, I got the okay. Then when it was time to confirm the event, I'm calling and nobody's taking my phone calls. And I remember that I was like, wait, what's going on here? But I had so much going on at the time, doing so much, being in so many different places that I didn't even sweat it. But looking back now, I would have loved to have spoken at Temple University. And hearing that possibly I was blocked by somebody that didn't like me in the conscious community, that's some real hater stuff. That's some serious hate, boy. That's some serious hate. We talk about what white people do all the time to us. We don't even touch or scratch the surface on what our own brothers and sisters do in terms of, you know, being responsible for our demise, our downfall. What I'm going to ask right now the family to do is, please, family, if you are listening right now, if you are here, thumb up the video and share it live. We got over 100 people in here. Our members should match our likes. Our numbers should match our likes. So if we have over 100 people in here, we should definitely have well over 100 likes. Should definitely have over 100 likes. But yeah, man, it's crazy out here in these streets, y'all. It's crazy out here in these YouTube streets, boy. The hate is real. Let me tell y'all something. Y'all don't even understand that the hate that I get is astronomical. Can y'all imagine that this probably, and I say this with the most humility, but I know somebody gonna take it personal, but I really do say this with the utmost humility. There's probably no Israelite on the planet. Oh, Zion, don't do that. Keep it humble. No, I'm keeping it real. There's probably no Israelite on the planet that publicly defends the Bible on such a large platform in the way that I do. Defending the Bible against the people that say it's not historical. Defending the Bible against the people that say this ain't real and the Bible ain't this and the Bible ain't that. There's not an Israelite on the planet that has gone on bigger platforms than me, has put in more work than me currently in defending the Bible against the current onslaught of the African conscious Kemetic community. And that is a fact. No hate, no malice, no ego. Is just a simple fact. No Israelite on the planet. And then watch what's interesting about that. You know, one of the biggest groups that attacks me are also Israelites. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? The brother says, stay humble. My response, ain't nothing arrogant about my response. It's just a simple fact, brother. So I'm not sure if you're unable to deal with the facts, but it's a simple fact that no Israelite on the planet has gone on a bigger platform and has defended the Bible openly and publicly more than I have. That's a fact. Unless you could show me at least one. If you could show me one that has done it bigger than me, more consistent than me, let me know now so I can stop teaching tonight. Let me know now. You see, there's a difference between being ego-filled, being arrogant, and telling the truth. I'm just telling the truth. I could be arrogant, believe that. I could have some ego when I get ready, believe that. But all I'm speaking right now is fact and truth. And if you can't handle that fact and truth, I don't know what to tell you. So I'm not sure why you write and stay humble. I'm just speaking a fact. And there is a reason why I'm speaking the fact. With all the work that I do defending the Hebrew community against the onslaught of the Kemetic community, some of my biggest attackers are still people in the Hebrew community. And the crazy thing about this, guys, I'm not talking about, random Hebrews in a corner somewhere that don't know much. I'm talking about Hebrew leaders and teachers that I could tell you real life scenarios where people have come to me and have told me what they have done, and they still smiling and beguiling, not knowing I know everything. This is crazy, y'all. This is crazy. This is crazy, man. This is really, really crazy. But yeah, man, the hate that I get in the Hebrew community is astronomical, man. It is simply astronomical, and it's crazy. And it's crazy. So again, family, thumb up the video and share the live. Thank you to the haters for thumbing down the video, because that works too. Thank you to the haters for thumbing down the video, because that works too. People be really wasting their time to press that thumb down like that make a difference. Your enemies are those of your own household, man. That's a fact. That's a fact, man. Unfortunate, but that's a fact. Unfortunate, but that's a fact, man. Let me see if anybody else calling in. If nobody else calling in, I'm going to wrap it up. Nobody else calling in, I'm going to wrap it up. But again, if you guys want to call in, if you want to join the live, let me know. Let me know, family. Let me know. Or else we literally about to shut it down. But let me try to give y'all an opportunity to call in. Also, do remember, family, to thumb up the video and share the live. Thumb up the video, share the live. Don't be afraid to show your brother some love. Donate to the platform. Putting in a lot of work for a long time. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Sister said, you are loved too, in spite of the haters. Thank you, man. I really appreciate that. I really do appreciate that. Thank you. I definitely appreciate that. Definitely appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. Yeah, this is a very interesting community. It's a very interesting community. The community called the Hebrew community. It's a very, very interesting community. Your biggest haters be the people that be on your posts all day talking about, hey, Moray, salute to you. And then be the people hitting the thumb down button. Let me tell y'all, hate is a real thing. Hate is so real, it can cause psychosis. Hate is so real, it can cause psychosis. The same people in your inbox telling you, I appreciate you, I support you. The same people that on Facebook openly be supporting you, be some of the same people that be hating on you. And I'm telling you guys from fact, because let me tell y'all, it be coming back to me. And it be coming back to me with receipts. So I know. I know. Thank you very much, Brother Kevin, for your donation. I appreciate you, Brother Kevin. Thank you very much. I see you, my brother. Thank you very much. Ebony Haynes said, I was told to be careful following you because you are into Kabbalah. Yep. Don't follow me if you don't like Kabbalah, because I definitely teach Kabbalistic teachings. So if you don't like Kabbalah, I'm definitely not your teacher. And I'm fine with that. If anybody is not into Kabbalah and you don't want to mess with me, there's plenty of teachers you can mess with. Shout out to them and shout out to you. You know, I'm at a space where I don't argue. And I'm also not going out my way to explain things that are easily dealt with in a lot of the things that I already teach. So if there's anybody that is afraid of the Talmud, anybody that's afraid of Kabbalah, and you know that these are the things that I teach, by all means, you don't got to subscribe to the channel. You don't got to watch me. You could just totally avoid me and just know that with all due respect, that's okay, because I realize that not everybody is for everybody. Not everybody is for everybody. So I have several videos explaining Kabbalah. I have several videos explaining the oral tradition. So unfortunately, I don't really go out my way to clarify some of those things, especially when I have so many videos clarifying those things. All right. So what I really want to say is, if you really listen to me teach, you know that I'm a hell of a researcher. And you know that what I bring to the table is a very valuable contribution. Those things alone should make you curious about what else I teach. It should make you curious about what else I teach. Most people who tell you that the Kabbalah is bad wouldn't jump on this live stream and join me and have a conversation about it, because they know they'd probably get embarrassed. Telling you. There's a lot of people out here that are saying that things are bad and they haven't even studied it for themselves. How you know it's bad, Ak? Well, this brother put it on Facebook the other day. Let me see the Facebook post. You mean this meme? Yeah, this meme. What the meme say? The Kabbalah is bad. Yo, Israelites is crazy, man. Israelites is crazy, man. Israelites won't mess with you because of a meme. I don't mess with him. Why? Because I read in a meme what he teaches bad. Well, if you don't follow things because you saw it in a meme that it was wrong, then you definitely don't need to learn from me, because it shows you're not using enough brain capacity to learn from me. If a meme is the final authority of the things that you should be learning. So I'm going to agree with you. You definitely shouldn't be coming to learn from me. So please save me the heartache, the pain, and stay where you at. Believe you me, I'm totally cool with that. I'm perfect in my lane. I don't try to step out my lane. I'm good with what I do. Very good with what I do. Nola in the building. Shout out to Nola. Shout out to Nola. Shout out to Brother Cedric. Thank you very much, man. Got your donation, Brother Cedric. Thank you very much. I see you, brother. Thank you very, very much. Let me take some of these questions. Somebody said they was trying to call. Hold on, before I take those questions, somebody said they was trying to call a 718 number. Let me call you back. Let me see what you're talking. Hello? Hello?
You hear me?
Yeah, okay, hear you loud and clear. Tell us your name, your city, and jump into what you'd like to say. Oh, you got to turn down your background noise.
You hear me now?
Yes.
Shalom, Lex.
Shalom, shalom. How you doing?
New York. Everything good, bro. You know. one of the questions I wanted to ask you about the Moors. A little study now, small little study I've done. Are the Moors children of Lot?
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said, are the Moors descendants of Lot and or mixed with Israelites and Edomites?
You said, are the Moors the same as black?
No, descendants.
Oh, are the Moors? Absolutely, definitely. You have paintings of Moors in Spain and Portugal, in Morocco, in Mauritania. Absolutely. We know that the Moors were black.
Right. No, I know about that, but it was a finding that I did that I saw that it said that it was descendants of Lot. And I said, oh, that makes sense.
Okay.
It would make sense.
Okay.
But I also saw some other information saying that the time the Moors, that they were not just descendants of Lot, it was also Israelites and children from Edom too. I suppose that. Is that any truth to that?
You asked me a very, very tough questions. Not a tough question because the scholarship is tough, but tough because I'm trying my best not to go in on the answer. But I'll say this. It's probably better to ask a more that question because I don't want to misrepresent their views. I think if I share my opinion, it might come across as an attack. So I think it's better to ask a more that. I'm a specialist in Hebrew doctrine and culture. So I think it'd be better to ask a more that. But I will tell you, honestly, I am kind of beating around the bush. I do have an answer, but I know my answer is going to be viewed as an attack. And I respect my Moorish brothers so much that I won't even attempt to do that.
Fearless brother. I have one last question to ask you.
You got to turn your background down, brother.
Sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Abraham and Nimrod. Is it true that Shem and Ham intermarried in biblical times?
Shem and Ham definitely married in biblical times. It's all throughout the Bible, right? You can even see in the Middle Kingdom period, in the New Kingdom period, the Nisut on the throne married several foreign Asiatic women. And you can see in the Bible that many of the descendants of Shem married Hamitic women. Look at the wives of Ishmael. He took wives from the daughters of the land. Same thing with Esau. Same thing with the Israelites. Same thing with Moses. Look at Moses' wife. So there was a lot of intermingling.
Right. Because that's the word I tell a lot of people that something I read that I didn't know that. And I believe it's Nimrod's daughter. I spelled it A-Z. I can't pronounce it. I can't spell it, pronounce it too well. But that would be Eber's husband, and that would make her grandmother to Abraham by what, the fifth or sixth generation?
Right. So, like I said again, I would love to go into that question with more depth, but I just don't want to be an affront to our brothers.
Okay. Well, Lex, it's great talking to you, bro. I love your videos. I love all the stuff you're doing. And I definitely gotta get into your classes.
Definitely, man. Just hit me up, zionlex@gmail.com. I appreciate that, brother.
Appreciate it.
All right, let me try to take a phone call from somebody who didn't get in yet. Family, when y'all calling, please turn your background down so we can hear you nice and clear.
Greetings. Good evening.
Shalom, family. Can you speak in a nice, clear voice? Tell us your name, your city, and please, if you have any devices on in your background, turn it down, especially if it's on YouTube, because you're going to hear an echo.
Yes, my name is Rod Moses.
I'm calling from Tallahassee, Florida.
How you doing, Rob Moses?
I'm doing fairly well, my brother. I've been watching you for quite some time. I saw you first on Sarnella's program. And for one thing, I greatly appreciate your growth and tremendous knowledge, and definitely in studying of the Neptune Netta. I give you much thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right, okay. Well, with that being said, again, the ancient Comedians, they recorded a tremendous amount of information for us to reclaim in this now age of knowledge, especially with this technology that we have, that cell phone technology. And again, I can't read Neptune Netta, but I've been seeking the knowledge of God and spiritual truth for quite some time now, for over 25 years. And all roads led back to ancient Kemet, especially the pictures. Again, a picture speaks 1,000 words, and the writings on the wall. I see that we are in conflict about uniting our people. All woolly-haired, melanated people, from my understanding, are able to absorb more solar energy than any race on this planet. And those ancients, they left a pattern for us to follow. Some of the teachings of Tahuti shows him holding a semicircle which represents the sun, and two staffs with the ankh in it. So he was teaching the knowledge of the staff and the ankh. And it says in the Bible several times, in the book of Numbers, Moses told him to make a fiery serpent and put it upon a pole, and he made a serpent of brass. He made the metal staff. It says, "Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me." And in the book of Mark 6:8, it's talking about Yeshua, and commanded them that they should take nothing on their journey save a staff only. So again, I'm into uniting our people with some information, some technology that will help us to understand the tools of energy that these ancient Comedians had. You know, the pyramid, the dead pillar, the staff, and the ankh were their four major systems of receiving and transmitting energy. So I don't know if you ever pondered of investigating some of that information so that we can step our game up.
All right, I appreciate that, brother. I definitely am one that delves deeply into Kemetic culture and tradition. And in terms of the rod and the staff and some of the parallels in the Bible, I definitely want to point something out to you that I think you might find interesting. I'm going to go to the Sahu of Tutankhamun, just to kind of point something out for a moment in light of what you said. In fact, I'll just take anyone. I'll take anyone. Let's see. I'll take this one. Well, I want the biggest one. There we go. All right. Can you see the screen on YouTube as you're talking to me?
No, sometimes I call Sarnetta and my phone is on. I seem like whatever the device.
Oh, okay. So on the screen, though, I have a picture of a Nisut in his Sahu, in his mummified tomb, and his coffin, and he's holding a shepherd's crook and a flail. The shepherd's crook and the flail. And these are emblems of kingship. These are Egyptian or Kemetic emblems of kingship. But here is something I want to say to you. That's a Middle Kingdom innovation. You don't find this representation of Kemetic Nisuts or kings in the Old Kingdom period. When you see Egyptian kings wearing or holding the shepherd's crook and the flail, That's from the Middle Kingdom onward, and is predominantly in the New Kingdom period. Now, here's the knowledge behind that. First and foremost, the shepherd's crook and flail belongs to the occupation of shepherds. Asiatics are the one that brought sheep into Kemet. Hence why it is taught that shepherds were an abomination to Egyptians in the Bible. And even in the Kemetic literature, the language that some of the literature uses to refer to Asiatics are those stinking shepherds or dirty shepherds. So number one, the occupation of a shepherd predominantly in the ancient world was considered Mesopotamian or Levantine, the Asiatics. It is only when Asiatics begin to make an influx into ancient Egypt that ancient Egyptians begin to use these emblems as emblems of kingship, which actually shows you not the influence of Kemet on them, but the influence of them on Kemet. Remember, shepherds are looked down upon by Egyptians, frowned upon Egyptians. Yet the king is using the emblems of a shepherd to represent kingship in Egypt. And he's doing it at a time when Asiatic shepherds are beginning to come in Egypt in huge numbers. And this is around a time where Asiatics begin to have great influence on Kemetic culture and tradition. So yes, you're reading the Bible, my staff and my rod, they comfort me. And yes, there are texts in Kemet that saying the same thing, but what you should know is that the Asiatic kingdom actually influenced the shepherd's emblem for the Egyptian kings.
Okay, yeah, I greatly appreciate you with just sharing that information. But if you look at the methods, the method only carries the staff and the ark. Now, on the temple of Tehuti, in the temple of Tehuti, Tehuti is holding two stepping staffs. They had the two kingdom crowns on it, and one is blood red and one is all orange, which is Jasper and Carnelian. That's what the Book of Revelation took that image from. But to make a long story short, again, only males carry a rod, which is hanging off their hip. Again, what you said about the crook and the flail, you just taught me something with your scholarship, the time that information came, those symbols came into Kemet. What I'm saying is that the staff and the ark they were functional tools that empowered the deity to gain energy, especially if their body is contained with the right 7 major minerals and trace minerals, the chargeable elements that they have, you know. It's a holistic approach for the knowledge of the gods. You know, the direction that the spirit is leading me to is more scientific in nature, dealing with electromagnetic energy. Not having the knowledge of what is an electromagnetic rod, how to make one, which is simple science. And those ancients knew this knowledge back in antiquity. So that's a path I have been led to unite our people in. All woolly and melanated people.
Absolutely. There's far more commonality in the systems than there are division in the systems, right? Like most people just focus on our differences, and that's because most people are small-minded. But if you really think about it, our commonality comes from the fact that we have a common ancestor that lays out a tradition. And then you have the descendants of this common ancestor that begin to evaluate and evolve the system into, what they see it to be. So the people of Asiatic descent, so-called, they have a common ancestor with the people of Kemet, and their system is that which is taught in the Bible. And of course, that which is taught in Kemet is that which you can find inscribed within the walls of pyramids, on coffins, and on the walls of Egypt, right? But it is absolutely clear that when you examine both of these traditions, that you can see that there's a common ancestor to it. The Hebrews regard that common ancestor as Noah.
But let me make one more last point, John. I appreciate. I heard you mention, I think, on the last broadcast about a lot of Egyptians throughout their various invasions, they fled. A lot of them fled into Western Africa as well. And I have some masks from Ghana showing a third eye, a third eye emblem on a lot of masks from Africa that my sister brought me. And plus you see there in Mali, they have a lot of pyramid style structured buildings. So again, people don't realize that if the Israelites did fled into West Africa, that region, also the ancient Egyptians did so as well.
Well, I spoke on this earlier, actually today, online, right on my live, when I said that if you really are objective in your study of West Africa, you will not only find Hebrew tradition among many tribes in West Africa, but you'll also see Kemetic culture and tradition, and as well as offshoots of their language, right? You can actually see the evolution of the Medu Neter evenly established right in West Africa, just as common as you can see Hebrew tradition, culture, and language evenly distributed in West Africa. So what does that tell you? It definitely shows that both of these cultures were pushed deep into the interior of Africa and both wound up in the West Coast. So the West Coast of Africa is not exclusively Kemetic, nor is it exclusively Hebrew. It's a homogeneous mix of both cultures and traditions.
And all of those people could have gotten caught up in the slave trade. So again, John, thank you so much for your for just the Spirit leading you to the direction that you're going, and I appreciate you.
Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you as well. Thank you very much. All right, take care. All right, family, thumb up the video and share the live. Family, thumb up the video and share the live. We got well over 100 people in here, family. If y'all want to see this keep going, thumb up the video and share the live. If not, I'm going to assume y'all tired and we're going to shut down. In other words, thumb up the video and share the live. Thumb up the video and share the live, family. We could go on a little bit more if you'd like, but at least thumb up the video and share the live. In the interim, I'm going to say this really quick. In responding to some of what the brother said, I want to give this point. In responding to some of what the brother said, I want to give this point right here. And here is my point. Clearly, the Hebrews and the people of Kemet have a common ancestor, right? Which the Bible would regard as Noah, right? The Bible says Noah has 3 children, Shem, Ham, and Japhet, right? And it regards Japhet as the elder. Then you have Shem and Ham. Having said that, let me say this. If you deeply examine our traditions, you will find great commonality. If you deeply examine our traditions, you will in fact find great commonality. In fact, on the screen is an excerpt of a particular hieroglyphic or Medu Neter symbol. This is the Jed symbol, otherwise known as the Jed Cobra. The Jed Cobra. It means to speak. It means to speak in the Medu Neter. Jed means to speak. And its symbol is the upright snake. I'm going to say that again. The symbol for the Jed Cobra, which means to speak in the Medu Neter, is an upright snake. So I want to ask you a question. Where's the irony in the fact that the upright snake in ancient Kemet represents speech? Go down to the Bible. Doesn't the Bible say that there was a snake that stood upright in the garden and spoke? What you should know is that in the Egyptian paradigm, there's also a snake that goes on its belly, and that's the horned viper. That's the horned viper. Let me show you. Let me show you guys something. Let me give you a little taste of what I do. Let me give you just a little taste of what I do. All right. This is the upright snake, the Jed symbol for the J sound. By the way, clearly the J sound is much older than 500 years old because you can find the J sound in ancient Kemet going back to pre-dynastic times. That's before 3100 BC. So the people online who are talking about the J sound is only 500 years old, what you should be saying is that the letter J is only 500 years old to the English language, of which you should also add that the English language is not much older than that to begin with. There's another snake, however, which is the horned viper, and that gives you an F. To the people of ancient Egypt, it's not the snake that's lying on its belly that represents speech, but it's the upright snake that represents speech. To which I ask everyone in the audience, use your common sense. Wouldn't that clearly show you that there's a common ancestor in our tradition if the Hebrews equate the upright snake with speech? And even in the Medu Neter, the upright snake, the Jed, which gives you the J sound, it means to speak in the Medu Neter. And the snake that is symbolic of it is an upright snake, i.e. a cobra. This should be common sense, guys, that there's a common ancestor to our traditions. Don't you think Noah would have taught all of his children about the true and the living God? So you can find aspects of Hebrew tradition right in Kemet. Right in Kemet. So everyone looking to find parallels and saying, oh, this shows that you stole, this shows that we had it first, it's silly and a stretch at best, because what it really shows is a common ancestor for our traditions. People have to stop being so simple and rushing to say that something was stolen, something was plagiarized. What about the idea that there's a strong possibility that there's a common ancestor to our traditions, and this is why the tradition may have similar teachings in various respects? By the way, this is how you do scholarship. That's how you do scholarship. All right, that's how you do scholarship. All right, what's next, family? What's next? What's next? What y'all want to jump into next? About to shut down the live in a couple of moments if nobody else calls in. Let me check the call in first. Let me check the call in first.
Hello?
You on the air, caller? Tell us what's your name, your city, and jump into what you'd like to say.
Hey, this is Dave from Houston.
How you doing?
I'm all right, shalom, brother. Hey, he's really off the top of the head. In the Bible, I can't remember if it's Exodus or is it Isaiah, but it's a very funny. And I want to know, like, what in Hebrew, what is the word funny?
I'm sorry, I missed what you said.
I say, in the Bible, you know, I'm reading it because I can't remember the verse by heart. So I'm trying to see, like, because in the Bible, it's this word horny. They get used to, like, I can't remember if it's Isaiah or Exodus. And I was trying to see what was that word in Hebrew? Like, what did they translate to?
What was the word for hornet used in Hebrew in Isaiah or Exodus?
Yeah, I can't remember if it's Isaiah or Exodus, but like, what is that word hornet translate to in Hebrew?
Let me tell you right now. Let me try to pull it up for you as you on the line, and let's see. Zirah. 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 You find it also in Deuteronomy. Zirah. Say that again?
What's the meaning in Hebrew?
What does it mean? Let me look it up for you right now. Zirah can denote many things. One of them is being leprous, a hornet, or some type of eruption or affliction. So you know that the hornet packs a mighty sting. So in the Hebrew language, when we call the hornet zirah, it's possible because of what comes from the sting, because it seems to describing some type of eruption, some type of skin ailment, also leprosy, as well as the word hornet.
Okay.
And that's in page
I just need.
222 of the Etymological Dictionary of Biblical Hebrew.
Okay. Yeah, I just need to understand it for the real hornet. I appreciate everything you doing for the community.
Thank you very much, brother. Shalom to you as well. All right. Thank you very much, my sister Ebony Haynes. I appreciate you. All praise to the Creator. All praise to the Creator. I don't want to forget the brother's question that I kind of saw. Brother said, my question is, were the pre-dynastic Asiatics that were in Kemet originally African? Absolutely. You had people that were living in the Nile Delta that we describe as Asiatic, which today you could also call African. Listen, some of the oldest people in Africa are the Libyans. The Libyans are also there pre-dynastic, and they're not Asiatic. Let me show you guys what the Libyans look like, by the way. Let me show you guys what the Libyans look like, because what some of these Kemetic teachers out here are doing is horrible scholarship. So let me show you guys something. Let me show you what Libyans look like in Egyptian day. Now watch this. Watch this. This guy, matter of fact, let me get the big picture. This guy right here is African. No, he not. Yes, he is. And he also has the features of a Caucasian. So, I mean, at this point, I shouldn't have to say this, but it is common sense that Europeans come from Africans. Europeans don't fall out of the sky and come from nowhere. All races on the face of the earth come from, quote unquote, the African, the people of the continent. Having said that, the Libyans are living in and around West North Africa even before Kemet becomes a nation. And look at their skin color and tone. Much of the interior of Africa, Middle Africa, and South Africa was definitely a very dark color and hue. But even when you go deep into South Africa, look at the color of the people, right? The oldest people in South Africa are the San Khoi. Oldest people of South Africa are the San Khoi people. And these people are light reddish brown. This is the San Khoi people. So what people need to do is start studying history, because people assume that the deeper you go into Africa, the blacker people get, and that's not true. The oldest people in Africa are this complexion: high yellow, light skin to reddish brown. High yellow, light skin to reddish brown. That's the Sankoy people. Academia regards the Sankoy people as the oldest people in Africa itself, and they are not the deepest, darkest of black. North Africa had a people called the Tamhu or the Libu, which today are called Libyans. Let me just tell you guys something right now. A person like Gaddafi is not the color that he was because of an Arab invasion. Gaddafi was the leader of Libya, and the people of Libya since pre-dynastic times have been in Egypt, and this is their look. So to answer your question, now, yes, the Asiatics that were in Kemet can originally be called African, because Africa, quote unquote, I say quote unquote because it's a very new term, it's not an ancient term, but Africa, quote unquote, always had a mix of a Semite and a Hamite population, what the Bible calls Semites and Hamites. Fact. When you look at the table of nations in Kemet, they even show you various nations that existed in Africa for such a long period of time that are not black in color, so to speak. Let me show you the tomb of Seti and the four races. Watch this. Tomb of Seti, four races. I'm gonna show you something. I think you really will appreciate this. You know, a lot of people in the Kemetic conscious community, they do feel-good scholarship and they do romanticism. They really, really do. They don't tell you guys the whole truth. But I'm gonna show you some of the whole truth right now. And it's gonna get real interesting real quick. It's gonna get real interesting real quick. Watch this. This is a depiction of, quote unquote, the four races of man. This is an Egyptian. This is an Asiatic. This is a Nubian. And this is the people of Libu or the Tamhu. Clearly, this is what we call today white people. But they've been living in North Africa before the people of Kemet inhabited Kemet. So they absolutely have to be called African. So just because someone is of a different color does not make them non-African, because you can go in Kemet and see depictions of people in races that have been in Kemet longer, been in Kemet or been in Africa longer than many groups that are regarded indigenous to Africa today, and look at their skin color and tone. This is real scholarship. This ain't feel-good scholarship. I'm giving you the truth. The Tamhu, where does he live? The Tamhu doesn't live in the land of Canaan. The Tamhu doesn't live in Mesopotamia. Guess where the Tamhu lives? North Africa, Libya. And look at him right here. Let me isolate him so you just see him. Let me isolate the Tamhu so that you just see him. This guy right here has been living in North Africa since long before the pre-dynastic period. And look at his color. But by today's designation, you have to call him Africa because that is the continent that he is indigenous to. So people have to actually research and study, because a lot of the claims being made in the conscious community is pseudo AF. I'm not going to go ham and say it the way I want to say it, but a lot of the claims in the conscious community are pseudo AF, and y'all know what I mean. I hope you can respect my answer. Anybody else? The primary shows the Asiatic looking darker. Somebody says show the original picture. All right. The primary shows the Asiatic looking even darker. So I could have showed the primary. Hold on. Let me get a full image of the primary. Show the original picture. All right, I got you. Hold on. Let me get a nice look of the original. The original has a lot of people cut out also. So hold on a moment. All right. You can't really make out most of them in the original for that one, but let me do this. Let me do this. This is from the tomb of Seti the First. This is from the tomb of Seti the First. This is the four races of man mural. And as you guys can see, it's etched out. So these are artist renditions, but it's etched out. But these are artist renditions. These are artist renditions. But anyway, I still proved my point. All right, still proved my point. So let me go on. All right. Anybody else before we close out? Anybody else before we goes out? All of them are a little darker in the primary, but to say all of them are dark in the primary, that's inaccurate. All of them are a little darker in the primary, but all of them are not dark people in the primary. That's incorrect. The primary is darker, but not all of them are dark people, right? You also have, this is a primary picture. This is a primary picture here, although the era may not match. Let me see. Let me see something. Let me see what I can find. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but let me see what I can find. Let me see. Okay, same thing. This is a primary. And look at the color of the Talmud. What are we even talking about? This is a primary. And look at the color of the Talmud. What are we even talking about? And they live right in North Africa for how many thousands of years? The Talmud are Africans. They have the look of what we call Europeans today, but they are Africans. Period. All right, enough of that. I'm not going to stay on that long. Let's move on. It's getting late. It's almost 11:38. It's getting late. Is Afri a Semitic word? Okay, I could jump on that. Brother said, is Afri a Semitic word? Absolutely. In Josephus's book entitled Against Apion, which you can find in the complete works of Josephus, the complete works of Josephus, the last book is called Against Apion. In Against Apion, Josephus presents the case that the origin of the term Africa goes back to Abraham's son Ophri through his wife Keturah. The peoples of North Africa, after a significant amount of time, and it's just one particular region in North Africa, they call themselves the people of Ophri or Afri. And that is a very, very old designation for some parts of North Africa to this day. When Scipio Africanus conquers Carthage, when Scipio Africanus, or simply when Scipio, because at the time he wasn't called Africanus, but when he conquers Carthage, he names himself after the people he conquers after Roman tradition. And this is in line with their custom. This is in line with their custom that the conquering general takes on their names as a badge of honor. So Scipio was not known as Scipio Africanus until he defeated the people of Carthage, and that region was also known as Afri. Therein bore the term Africanus or African, the people of Ophri. The Kemetic community can't even tell you where the name Africa come from, by the way. Also, let me show you something else. I want you guys to ask the people in the conscious community, what does Narmer's name mean? If they know where Narmer is from, ask them, what does Narmer's name mean? And watch this. I guarantee you that the leaders and teachers in the Kemetic conscious community, the only thing they can do with Narmer's name is to tell you how it's spelled in the Medu Neter. They absolutely cannot even tell you what the name means, because Narmer's name is not of Kemetic origin. Yes, it's spelled using the catfish and the chisel. The catfish gives you Nar, and the chisel gives you Mer. Okay, but what does his name mean? What does Narmer mean? Because that's going to show you the origin of the name. What does Narmer mean? Ask any Kemetic teacher what does it mean, and they can't tell you. But not only can I tell you what his name means, I can show you what culture it comes from, and I can show you why a great part of Kemetic tradition is based on Narmer's name. More on that the next time I sit down with a so-called Kemetic scholar that knows Medu Neter. More on that the next time I sit with a Kemetic scholar who's supposed to know Medu Neter. All right. All right, y'all. I already said if you guys want to call in and get more invasive answers to your questions, that you can do so. If not, we're going to shut down the line. So that's exactly what we're about to do at this time, family. Appreciate those of you who tuned in. Thank you very much for your support.